Hello, this is Cynthia Gumbert from SmartBear, and I'm here with the two founders of TM4J, Test Management for Jira, our most recent acquisition. And they are Vitor Paliza and Cristiano Caetano. Vitor and Cristiano, can you tell me a little bit about where you are calling in from today?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a Brazilian, but I'm calling from London.
Fantastic.
Yes, same here. I'm calling from London, from the new London office or home office for now.
Excellent. And I'm in Massachusetts, USA today. Can you tell me a little bit about how TM4J came to be and when you got the idea to start the company?
Okay, cool. So Vitor and I, we were involved in a Jira implementation and at the beginning, and Vitor was an employee of this customer. I was a software testing company back then. And we were tasked to evaluate the best test management app to address that specific customer needs. So neither of the apps we tested back then met this customer needs. So we realized there was an opportunity actually in the marketplace to introduce an app in the very enterprise space, right? So we did a user research with similar companies in the enterprise space, and we got lots of good feedback about this potential opportunity. So at that point, we had enough signal to move to the next step. So we did a POC and got the development started. So roughly after 1 year, we released TM4J in the Atlassian marketplace, and the rest is history. So we're here, we have been acquired. That's it.
That's great. So you went from an idea to launching it to the marketplace within a year.
Yeah,
that's
it.
Great. And Vitor, can you talk a bit about, was it risky to jump off of what you were doing before to dive right in to starting a company? There's a little bit less security in your life when you're doing that. What was going through your mind at that point?
Yes, you're right. So yeah, that's a good question. I would say it's slightly riskier. Just kidding, because starting a new business is something really risky actually. And when you start a new business, you actually should expect to fail. That's what happens with most new startups, right? So it was very risky, yes, it was. But I think we've done some homework before I've taken the decision of quitting my job. And we have loads of projections and plans. So at some point you kind of need to bet on it, and I think that's what I've done. And it worked, yeah, good.
Yeah, we succeed.
That's great. First try too. That's a great story. Was there anything, we're in tough times right now, and certainly there's a lot of ideas, a lot of new technology coming out to address what's happening in the world with the pandemic. Was there anything going on in either the economy or your own companies or the environment you were in that pushed you to start the company?
Sure. Okay, right. Well, I think this is a very relevant question actually, because we're living in this quite weird times because of the whole COVID-19. So yeah, well, we founded TM4J in 2014 in Brazil. As Cristiano said, we come originally from Brazil. And at that time, it was called actually Canoa Tests. So we renamed after the acquisitions to TM4J. So in 2014, so yes, we founded in 2014. We come from a very kind of entrepreneurial area of Brazil, a city called Florianópolis. So there are many tech companies and startups. However, The thing is, we are very connected to the Atlassian marketplace. So in spite of the global scenario that we have been living over the last 6 years, Atlassian has been growing quite a lot and investing quite a lot, investing a lot on the marketplace. The marketplace is much, much bigger now than it was 6 years ago. And I can definitely say that this actually has been critical for us, a critical success factor, because we have been kind of protected economically from this growth of Atlassian. So I guess we kind of grew together with Atlassian, which is good.
Yeah,
So
we are quite fortunate because of that.
yes, exactly. So I think we're kind of blinded for these from these external factors that might influence the business from the global economy, right? I think that was an advantage.
Super, super. And in the years since the company launched on the marketplace, how many users have downloaded TM4J? Did you expect it to be as popular as it is? What were some surprises that you saw along the way after launching the product?
Yeah, as of now, we got 5,000 customers, enterprise customers using TM4J for Jira Server, data center, and cloud. So all deployments in the Atlassian ecosystem. And of course, we launched the product and started the company to have success, right? So we didn't launch like to fail, but we weren't expecting that much success, to be honest. So we're super excited with the results so far. So, and now TM4J is one of the top selling products in the Atlassian marketplace. And we still are actually the only one focused on the enterprise space. So we are a testing app, very focused in the vertical enterprise space. And so far we're doing great. So the results so far, it's awesome, way better than we have expected at the beginning.
It shows that you really fit a need that wasn't addressed by anybody else, which is great. Have you had to shift focus or have some learnings from the early days with customers and their feedback and incorporating that into the direction of the product in ways you hadn't planned for originally?
Yes, that's a good question. And yeah, sometimes it's quite funny how the roadmap evolves and changes over time because of the user feedback. So in terms of features, I would say that initially we focused on more basic task management features. And our primary goal was to build a tool good enough to compete with the other solutions living in the Atlassian marketplace. And so, yes, we basically focus on the most basic manual task management capabilities in the beginning. And then I think over the time, we had a huge increased demand for integration with automation, test automation. And I think that's where our roadmap started shifting a little bit more. So we started investing much more in integration with test automation. So we have a plugin for Jenkins, an API, integration with Cucumber and JUnit. So these are some of the capabilities. I think one of the things that didn't change, and I would say it's one of the things I'm mostly proud of, is the fact that since from the beginning we focused a lot on UI and being an easy to use tool. So and we still have this mindset. So that's one of the things that makes me very proud.
How important has customer feedback been in the TM4J product roadmap over time?
Yeah, I mean, as just Victor said, like customer feedback is super important, like to us. So just one like super important information, right? So TM4J is the top reviewed and most loved app for testing in the Atlassian marketplace. So we're not just one of the top selling products in the whole Atlassian marketplace, but we are the top most loved product for testing. So because we listen to our users, so the user's feedback and pain points, they are the main drivers of our roadmap and strategy, right? So it's one of the most important variable of our prioritization process. So the customer feedback has been important to us since day one, since we have launched the product. So users, please keep the feedback coming. We love feedback, and your feedback is going to help us to improve the product.
Super, so important to keep listening to customers and listen to them over time. What are some of today's technologies and practices and methodologies that are enabling new innovation to be added to TM4J? Is innovation happening at a faster pace? Are you being pulled more quickly and more efficiently into releases and into updating features in the product since when it was founded?
Sure, yes, that's a good question. So, well, I would say in the beginning things were much more rough, because obviously we were a very small team, and we could do what we could do basically with 4 hands, pretty much. So I think we can consider programming with one single hand like some sort of process, because at some point I actually broke my right arm, and then I needed to learn how to use the mouse with my left arm and type with my left arm.
Rough times.
Yeah, that was very concerning, let's say.
Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. And so I would say we actually came from that, and now we have much more advanced processes. Actually, everything is kind of automated, and honestly, I am huge proud of the team we have now, because I think they helped and they are building all of the infrastructure for us to be able to run continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery. So for cloud, for example, we might just fix a bug and then get to production automatically after running our automated tests. We also have a huge end-to-end automation test suite. So we actually don't do like manual regression tests anymore. We just run everything automated, and then it goes to production. We have thousands and thousands of tests. So that's another big win, I would say. And that's why I'm very proud of the team, really, because they bring all this innovation, which helps the product to be more innovative as well, and our process is more efficient.
Super. And what are some of the needs or challenges that software delivery teams are facing today where you're making a big impact?
Yeah, I mean, there are many, but more than ever, teams, they need to release faster and faster with higher quality. So it's lots of pressure over teams, right? So TM4J, it's pretty much bridging the communication gap by providing a single source of truth for both manual and automated testing initiatives. As Vitor said, one of the key changes of the product was like introducing and improving all the test automation capabilities. So we not just support manual testing initiatives, but also integration with DevOps and test automation and shift left initiatives. And in addition to that, I would say TM4J offers a lots of enterprise reporting capabilities to help teams to make data-driven decisions in a daily basis. So those are the 2 key challenges that we are somehow bridging for teams, right?
Right. And then for those new to TM4J, where do you recommend they go to learn how to use the product most efficiently? Do you have blogs, message boards, other resources?
Honestly, TM4J has been built to be very simple and easy to use and intuitive. So, and we also have some onboarding features. So if we start using TM4J, if we have just installed TM4J, you can see some in-app documentation on TM4J Cloud, for example, that's going to help you to get up to speed and things like that. And the UI is also very intuitive and easy to use. So I would say after using TM4J for some hours, maybe for some minutes, you might just get used to it, and then you might not even need to read some documentation, but it's still, obviously we have a lot of documentation material. So we have the product documentation in the SmartBear website, we have YouTube videos, and obviously for any Atlassian users, you can leverage the Atlassian community. So we can go to the Atlassian community, ask questions about Jira or TM4J, and we are always monitoring that as well. So that's one nice channel we have to talk to customers.
That's great. And the best design of a product is people can just figure it out for themselves. So
exactly, I think that's something we really like to focus. I mentioned before that actually this is one of the things we focused since day one, and I think that's very important. It's very boring to start using some product or anything, and then you just can't start using your brand new product. So
yes.
That's really fun.
Yep, and that shows in the Atlassian marketplace ratings, which are very, very high.
Yes, as Cristiano said, we are the higher. We have the higher rating in the marketplace.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. And for people who want to contribute their own ideas, who have features or things they love in the product, where do they go to share their ideas?
Yeah, as I said earlier, since we are like customer driven, user driven, so all feedback and improvement requests are welcome, right? So anyone can provide feedback through the support desk. So it's one of the channels. During the demos and sales calls, and also as Vitor just said, so through the Atlassian community forums, so you can use the whole Atlassian ecosystem to provide feedback for us, and of course social networks. Plus, we sponsor and attend all the major software testing conference, so users can give feedback during any face-to-face conversation with our teams. So anyone that stops by our booth can pretty much give feedback and help us make the product better.
Mm-hmm.
Super.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, it's just to reinforce that we actually should have a big shout out for the team, actually, because our team is great. So it's not just engineering and automated tests, as I mentioned before. So our support is also great, and that's also one of the reasons why we are very well rated on the marketplace, because our support can answer really fast. It's a really channel to communicate with our customers.
That is so important. Absolutely. So I have one final question, and I will ask both of you to answer this one. What advice do you have for other entrepreneurs who are looking to start a software company today? Start with Vitor.
Well, starting a business is always a big challenge, and that's probably why the majority of the new startups fail actually on the first year. I think that should be expected when you start a business, so don't get upset about that. It's always a learning cycle, So I think my first advice would be to leverage the failures, to leverage your failures, basically iterate and learn from them, so then you can improve and make things differently. Sometimes it's hard to see how to do things differently, but I think that's very important to learn from the errors or from the failures. That might save a lot of time and money in the future. And I think my second advice would be to start very small and try to test the market as much as you can before really committing to develop any software or to build any product. And then once you have validated the market a bit more, you can, think about making further investments or then developing your software, because I think that definitely could save a lot of time and money, and that's very important on the beginning, time and money. So start small, validate market, and then expand fast. You know, I think that's my advice.
Fantastic. And Cristiano.
Yeah, I totally agree with Victor. So starting a company is super hard. So most of the startups fail or will fail. So that's the expected output. But they fail not because of they cannot build it. So it's never because of the technology, right? So the challenge is always about nailing the problem space and scaling fast. So my advice in this case is, guys, you need to love the problem, not the solution, right? So focus on a problem that's it's frequent and painful, because people are willing to pay you if you solve that kind of problem.
A real problem.
Yep, and you knew where the need was in the market. You came from that industry and really fit in to where there was a gap, which is great. So thank you very much, and another big welcome to you and the whole TM4J family to SmartBear, and we will certainly continue the conversation. So appreciate it, and we will talk soon. Thanks.